I want you to close your eyes and think about that number one person in your life who you love and care for the most. You're not going to close your eyes and think about that, are you? You already know who that person is? Of course you do. Came to you within 2 seconds. Good. 'Cause you know what? I also know who that motherfucking person is. You think I'm done with that bitch? Think it stops with her? You want to close your eyes again, pussy? Think of the second person that you really love in this world and cherish. Who is that person? Now think about that person calling you, saying, "What the fuck?" This psychopath maniac Chicago Blaxican is off his fucking meds, and he's outside my fucking house and outside of my fucking work. Simple punch back. Me, that's too boring. I take it extremely personal when you try to punch me. Me? I'm gonna take your eye out. I'm gonna fuck that eye up real bad if you try to punch me. When I was in third grade, fourth grade, one of those grades, there was this kid that I went to school with. It was Healy Grammar School in Bridgeport. He had this stamp, and you take the cap off and you stamp your hand, and there was a little sticker that ended up on your hand. I asked him if I could use his stamp. He told me no. I don't like to hear the word no. Now that I'm older, I realize I'm wrong and that's his stamp. And he has every right to tell me no. Good luck trying to tell me that back in third grade. So I just said, okay, no big deal. I went my way. He thinks it's over with. Little did he know. No. The next day, sometime, we have these coat hangers where you hang up your coat behind the wall, and they're very low because we're kids. He left his stamp in his pocket of his coat hanger. I took it. Wrong to do. Now that I'm older, I should have never done that. Wish I knew who he was. I want to replace that stamp. You know what makes that story very fucked up? Some other smart people, a few other smart people in my life, they said, no, that just makes you talented. I say they're right, but I also say there's some psychological things wrong with me. You would think after I stole his stamp, I would just take it home and stamp away. But I didn't. At third grade or fourth grade, or however old I was, I actually went back to that kid and I actually asked him, can I please use your stamp just one time? And he just looked with a very sad face and said, I don't have it anymore. Someone stole it. So I ask you, watching this, that was a diversion that I created in third grade. Do you think that there was something wrong with me? Knowing how to lie and create that diversion at such a very young age? I want to say it might have even been kindergarten. I just don't know. Kindergarten, third grade, fourth grade. Do you think that there was something wrong with me? Again, let me emphasize, I was wrong 100%. I wish nothing more I knew how to find that kid and tell him I apologize. No excuse. But do you think that's a gift? Like some other intelligent people have been telling me later on as I grew up, and they were just shocked that I did that at third grade. Well, let me ask you this question. If I created that diversion in third grade to get suspicion off me when I didn't even have to, and I probably did it just for my own rush, how well do you think my diversion skills are now? Let me ask you one more question. When you were in third grade, did you do that? Now, you practice anything, you get good at it. You become an expert. I've been practicing since third grade. But you see, that's just like a crumb of a whole entire cookie. Later on, I go to the eye doctor. Allegedly, there's something now wrong with my eyes. See a lot of eye doctors, they just can't figure it out. They claim that I have a lazy eye. Okay, well, lazy eye. So, after going to see all these eye doctors, and none of them could figure it out except for one young, good looking doctor. Again, I wish I knew who the fuck he was, because I would like to thank him. Every time the doctors hooked me up to all these machines and showed me the book with the butterfly and tell me and ask me which butterfly is closer, I passed all of that. But I remember as a kid, again, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, all of those grades, I would have to see them all the time. And there was this one test. That's why I bought this thing. There was just one test that I got off on with all the doctors in the white coats. They would do that all fucking day, every Saturday. So right now, my eyes are looking at you straight. Both eyes. See my left eye? My left eye is looking to 9 o'clock right now. But my right eye is staring dead at you. See that? See my left eye? Staring at that door right there. Looks like both of my eyes are staring at your ugly ass right fucking now. Is that a lazy eye? Have you ever seen that before? Let's try it again. One, or 2? Which one is better? A or B? Which one is better? Every time I went to the doctor, they all kept calling in other doctors. Bunch of young doctors, old doctors, hot doctor, girl doctors. Look at this kid. One day his eye is looking that way, and the next day his other eye is looking that way, and now it's straight. We're seeing things. I did that to screw around with them. I did that for my own personal entertainment at a very young fucking age. I just like the attention. I just like that these were allegedly doctors and they couldn't figure things out. So let me ask you something. When you were in third grade or fourth grade or fifth grade, could you do that with your eyes? I'm going to take a wild guess and say no. But I know what you're thinking. We don't have that situation with our eyes, Eric. Okay. Let me ask you this question. When you were in third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade, were you playing with doctors who had doctor's degrees, PhDs, and all kinds of stuff on Michigan Avenue in Chicago, the third largest market in the United States of America? No, we weren't. Gets interesting now. Because not only can I look at your bitch ass with my right eye, like I'm doing right now, if there is someone over there, he or she has absolutely no idea that I could actually see that motherfucker too with this eye. Because my head is looking straight at you. So I could watch two people at one time. Go fucking figure. Later on in my life, I meet some very, very intelligent people. They like that. And they confirmed that I'm able to watch two people at one time. They actually tested me. It's funny. But it's not just this eye, it's this eye too. One or two. See my left eye? Staring right at your ugly ass, right? See my right eye? It's staring at your ugly partner over there. I'm watching you both. Now I'm just watching you. Let's go back to the 80s with that doctor. Hey Eric, how you doing? Good. That's what he did. I'll never forget. He tried to do that. I kept doing this with my eyes. You know why I just laugh right now? You know why I'm happy right now? Because that was a time in my life when I didn't have all the hate that's going on in this world right now. That was a time in my life when I was extremely fucking happy and we were all just having a good time. Yeah, that's the best you got. Remember that? But see, that's just a crumb of the cookie. Now we have two crumbs. Later on, I grow older. I think I'm like in 7th grade, 6th grade. I go to Ford City Mall. It was bad back then, really bad. There's this Italian restaurant in the 90s. It was right next to Carson's. And they had this jukebox, expensive jukebox. My friend who I'm with were pulling on the red food tray. He pulls, I pull, he pull, I pull. Just like Tom and Jerry, I let the tray go while he's pulling. That tray ends up going in the middle of the glass of the jukebox and it breaks. I'm only in 6th or 7th grade. Now that I'm an adult, I'm clearly guilty of horse playing and we will pay for that jukebox. Good luck trying to tell me that back when I was a young motherfucker. Naturally, when that jukebox breaks, me and him, we walk away. We don't run. We just walked away. There was a Coconuts in other building right next to Ford City. Some cops came out. Some Ford City cops came out. All grown men, 40s, mid 50s. Me, they dropped my yellow Walkman, which was an iPhone, equivalent to an iPhone or an iPad back then. And I thought it was an accident. I'm in 6th grade, 7th grade. I'm young as fuck. I had no idea what police brutality was. So when they dropped my Walkman on accident, then he steps on it and says, "Oops." And then I say to myself, well, that's not an accident. And I still can't comprehend what's going on. I'm young. The friend that I was with at the time, he was 100% Mexican, and he was just a little bit older than me. Everywhere I turn around, people say, I don't know what nationality you are. With him, you could tell he was 100% Mexican, no doubt about it. And he was older. I was a cute little skinny kid. No reason to beat up on little old me. Him, they kicked the living fucking shit out of him, these cops. They punched him, they kicked him, they stomped on him, they punched his lip. He had a bloody lip. They didn't touch me, thank God, God bless. Then they take us into lockup at Fort City. And then they ask my friend what last name, and he tells them, and the cop just goes straight up to him and decks him right in his face again. And I'm sitting there watching this. It's like, oh, this is new. Then they take us to 63rd in St. Louis. At the time, there was a police station there. Then we go to court. When we went to court, again, I don't know what the fuck court is. We go to court, they drop the charges. I didn't even know what I was there for. My friend's mother is screaming off the top of her lungs, fuck that. Look at what they did to my son's face. I knew it. She had a point there. The manager of the restaurant came out and he said, I'm so sorry for what happened to you both. Fort City police can be really rough. I didn't know that was going to happen. Now that I'm older, and even back then, I'm thinking, why is this guy saying he's sorry? We're the ones who broke your jukebox. he just called 911 and reported it. But you know the interesting thing about that whole entire story that I'll never forget? It actually made me who I am today. After I leave the court, two guys approach me. One of them is wearing a trench coat. I don't know who the fuck these guys are. I don't know what's going on at all. I'm young. They asked me what happened, and I told them. And after I told them, you know what one of those guys in the trench coats pulled out back then? It was a little rectangle box like this. He pushed play, and it was the video of my friend getting beat up. No, darling, it wasn't the FBI. I promise you that. I'm pretty sure if you ask any FBI agent, they'll say those devices they didn't even have back then. Maybe they did. I don't know. These guys definitely had it, and they were not the FBI. Once I saw that video and that little machine that they had of us by coconuts, of him getting beat up and my Walkman dropping, that was one of the happiest days of my life because I never, ever, ever let go of video and surveillance. I knew that's what I wanted to do was record people. I knew that's how you would win if you have video of people doing some fucked up shit. I knew at that young ass fucking age, at 6th or 7th grade, this is the coolest fucking thing and this is what I'm gonna do with my life. Those two people, after they showed me the video, just smirked at me because they saw the excitement in my eyes. Let me ask you a question. Did you ever see that technology of recording people and come across two smart ass fucking intelligent guys at 6th or 7th grade? Actually, it's a very simple question. When you were in 7th grade or 8th grade or 6th grade, fuck, even do freshman, were you doing surveillance? Did you even know that existed? Let me guess. At best, you might have had a dad who had one of those big ass camcorders that you put on your shoulder. Do you think those two guys had a big ass camera putting it on their shoulder and they somehow transferred it to a little portable rectangle thing? Let me ask you one more question. If I met those two guys when I was in 6th or 7th grade and all those charges got dropped and I learned about surveillance at that young age, how good do you think my surveillance skills are now? Just a simple question. You got psychology, reverse psychology, through the hoop, underneath the chair, over the chair, and bring it back. Psychology is simple, just how our brain works. If you figure it out, you win. Reverse psychology is amateur, especially to me. Reverse psychology is if someone has a phone call going and that person is listening because they think that other person hung up the phone. Ah, I'm gonna listen in. I was talking to this person, but they didn't hang up. I could still hear their conversation. Let me listen. Turn it around. I know I didn't hang up, and I know you're still listening, because you would love nothing more but to get into this spy game and be a manipulator. But unfortunately, that's just naturally not you. So I'm going to go ahead and say some things and take advantage of that while you still believe I did not hang up the phone. Oh, I love her so much. She is so beautiful. That is the best date that I ever had. He says he loves me. Then maybe later on, in hopes, I'll see what a good, honest motherfucker you are and see if you tell me. I heard you tell your friend that we had the best date ever and I was so pretty. Simple reverse psychology. I did that when I had my cassette recorder. It was actually another interesting story. Something is seriously wrong with me if you really think about it. I had one of those cassette recorders like Arnold had on Different Strokes when the Gooch was bullying him. So what I did was I had my friend have a conversation with me, and I told him I was recording it, and it was talking good about this one girl. And then he would go ahead and say, "Hey, I just recorded Eric. He's talking really good about you. He said he was pretty." He goes and he gives that tape to her, and she's like, "Oh my God, you recorded him? This is what he said? Wow. Not bad for a seventh grader, huh?" That's all the reverse psychology, lad. Through the hoop? You know what through the hoop is, right? No. Through the hoop is a lion going through a ring of fire. The lion jumps through the hoop. If the lion could jump through the hoop, when there's fire, for some strange, weird reason, we get off on that. Through the hoop is you know you are being monitored, you know you are being watched by a lower government agency, and you still have to go ahead and finish this and complete it. Kind of like at a gas station. Oh, some hairs on the arms are going to go up now. Kind of like the gas station in 2013 when I'd go and might get some cigarettes, and there was like 20 lighters here, and if I grabbed the lighter from the back, that meant one thing. If I grabbed the lighter from the front, that meant another thing. That's through the hoop. I know I was being watched. Not that it matters at this point, but the back lighter, that was door number one. The third front lighter, that was number two. Next day, that was number three. 312 area code, 708 area code. Create codes and just embed it that no one knows. Good luck trying to prove that to a jury, let alone even taking it to a prosecutor saying this guy is grabbing different lighters. Why was I doing that? Do you know what over the chair is? Do you know what underneath the chair is? Can't talk about that with you right now because I still use that to my advantage until I'm done doing what I'm doing, which will be shortly. It gets better though. Oh my God, does my life got so much fucking better, it's unbelievable. There was this one guy. Oh, by the way, you know those two guys who recorded my friend getting beat up? They weren't even really truly supposed to be there for that. They just did that to help out because they were tired of seeing people get beat up by the police at Fort City. If you knew who these two guys were and who they worked for, you would say to yourself, what the fuck were they doing there from the get go? Not for our two dumb little fucking asses, that's for sure. That's what you call above and beyond expectations. Then 1997 comes around. 97, 98, yeah, 1997. How is your Zoom remote access, ladies and gentlemen? You know what remote access is, right? I know you do. 1997, Sears Telemarketing was open in Bridgeview on 87th and Harlem next to Harlem Corners. It's approximately 100 cubicles. They never liked when you call it insurance, but that's what it was. They call it maintenance protection agreement. Then later on, that word got old. So then they switch it to master protection agreement. What that means is if you bought a washer, a dryer from Kenmore, a treadmill from Sears, range, stove, refrigerator, TV, you name it, whatever you bought from Sears, my job was to sell it. Sell the master maintenance insurance protection agreements. So we had computers. 1997. 100 computers on the floor. 100 cubicles on the floor. I look up and there's two people on a bridge. I don't think it's a bridge. It's just a couple steps that you walk up. And there was three computers, two people working them. 97, 17. Anytime there's a problem with any of the computers on the floor, these two geniuses who know about computer access and remote access, they would fix it. So I noticed that they were watching me through my own computer or watching my actual computer and had access to it. I decided to make buddy-buddy with one of them. There was this girl that I was kind of digging out, and I had him put a message on there saying, "You're hot," at the bottom right hand of her screen. She starts freaking out, and I look at her. She thinks it's me. No, it's really him. That was my first time with remote access. That guy on the bridge did anything that I wanted to any computer on the floor. That was 100 of them. Just fun stuff. Hi, how you doing? She started freaking out, it sucked my cock for the rest of that month. I was 17 years old who learned about remote access. So let me ask you a question. How old were you when you found out and discovered remote access? Let me guess. 2020 when Zoom came out. There's a button at the bottom of the screen that says request remote access. Wow. Well, aren't you moving up in the world, darling? I mean, if you just think about that from a logical point of view just for a couple minutes. 17 years old, remote access. And you are how old? You're behind on your technology, kid. But it gets even better. That was nothing. I just had great times in my teens. There was this one guy. Statute of limitations expired now, so it doesn't make a difference. Plus, I wasn't involved. Guy's probably long gone and dead by now. There was this one guy who was doing some fucked up, disgusting shit. Just leave it at that. Even you would say, fuck him. There was a court case he was involved with, and somehow, some fucking way, he won through a technicality. Other people who were monitoring this fucking guy saw it, though, but they couldn't use the evidence because they weren't legally allowed to watch him the way they were watching him. So after he won through a technicality, do you think those other guys who had all that access and power to watch this guy just decided to say, oh, okay, we're done here? They're not quitters. You know what these guys did? Really fucking cool. This guy is sitting in his living room watching a movie with his wife, and it was a DVD player. I'll never forget the DVD player. I was into electronics back then, so those things they just stick with me. When he's watching a movie with the DVD player with his wife, the lights turn off, but then they turn back on. And I remember the guy who was running that told me, you don't just turn the lights on and off, on and off, on and off instantly. You control their emotions. The body has a lot of emotions. So when this guy turned his whole entire lights off from his house, and then he just turned them back on, it was no big deal because then the wife and the guy was just, okay, circuit broke. It's normal. The DVD player was blinking. I remember that. And he had to start the DVD again. It's like, okay, whew, lights went out. A few minutes later, this guy starts turning the lights on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. The hair on the arms went completely up. They ran the fuck out of that house. The wife left the guy. My guess is he turned ghost and white. I don't think he ever went back into that house again. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been involved in a situation like that before? I heard somebody. Come on. Did I just hear you say that's not how the law works, Eric? See, because if I heard that, that's an excuse. I told you that this guy did some fucked up shit. Real fucked up shit. Sick shit. It's on camera. Just wasn't admissible in court. It was a technicality. He's a piece of fucking shit. No one murdered him. He's lucky, by the way. Have you ever done that before? You ever turned the lights off before? You know what a grid is? You know how to make buddy buddy with someone at ComEd? The water department? No. Hmm. Why do you think that is? Law enforcement didn't teach you that? I was in my 20s when I was a part of that. What were you doing in your 20s? Let me ask you another question. It's okay. I understand. Let me ask you another question. How do you think you would feel if your lights were turned off and they started flickering on and off, on and off, on and off? Would you panic? Like right now, you'd probably say to yourself, oh, well, that's a hypothetical. You just gave me a courtesy and something to think about. So if my lights ever do turn on and off, I guess I'm somewhat trained from this motherfucker on YouTube. I don't think that was my question, though. I guess I'll reword it. Before you saw this YouTube video and I explained that situation, and you're sitting in your living room with your family and your loved ones, and you're watching a movie, and the lights turn off, and then they turn right back on, you think nothing of it. Still a little shooken out. And then a few minutes later, they start going on and off, on and off, on and off. Would you run out the house? Would you know how to handle it? Would you think to yourself, who the fuck is after me? Would you say to yourself, this is a fucked up experience? Would you forget it the next day? Let me ask you one more question. Do you think if my lights ever turned on and off, which they wouldn't be, by the way, if those people were interested in me, I would have been getting gone a long time ago. I think they love the fucking shit out of me because I did a lot of free work for them. That's just a Jesus Christ reality. If my lights did turn off and on like that, what do you think I would do? Think I'm ready for that? Think I have more of a chance of surviving than you do? Can I ask you a question? Let's just get serious here. Why did you join law enforcement? Think about it. Did this a couple times before, but I think it's warranted today. You remember law enforcement? Your very first time? You were in high school, and then you said criminal justice class is what I'm taking. You remember that? Is that guess right? Let me guess. It all started sometime in sophomore or junior in your high school, and you decided to say, law enforcement, I'm going to take this criminal justice class at this junior college. That's interesting because when I was in high school, I was already doing all this cool fucking shit. Actually, it was all before high school, to be honest with you. Everything except for the guy's lights turning on and off for him doing some sick, disgusting shit to somebody and got off with the technicality. Can I ask you another question? I've been yapping on here for 40 minutes talking about a few crumbs of my life before high school and during high school. Mid high school, I haven't even got to the end of it. During these 40 minutes that you've been speaking to me for, do you, honest to God, truly believe in your head that you or anyone that you have ever laid your eyes on is smarter than me? It's a very simple fucking question. When did you first tap a phone line? Wiretap, patch points, patch cords. Did you ever do that in your life? No? Yeah. I'm 21 years old. Doesn't matter at this point. I'm 21 years old. I'm in zone 7 in the basement. No one wanted to go down there. Dark, pitch black, bad. No one wanted to go down there. I emphasize. Looked like hell. Someone needed to let the AT&T guy in. Someone needed to let the phone guy in. So that was me. While I'm down there, the first time, with the telephone man, he's just doing his thing, checking the phone lines, making sure they work. It's about what? 50 stores at the very least? Around 50. And a couple weeks later, the phone guy needs to come down again. Can I ask you a question? Do you really think that was the phone guy? Or do you think that was the guy teaching me about listening in to people's phone conversations? in Zone 7. "21. Have you even left the fucking criminal justice class by then?" Yeah, he did. Ask you another question. How well do you think my communication skills now are to listening to other conversations if I were in the mood? See that guy who was the AT&T guy? He wasn't the FBI. Again, when the FBI listened to phone conversations in the early 2000s, they would have to get a warrant from AT&T, and then back then they had to actually go to AT&T, and the FBI would just sit there and listen and listen and listen at AT&T at the phone place. Then later on, it didn't work out. Then they had to start getting legitimate warrants. The person who told me and taught me how to do this, he or she never needed that piece of fucking paper. It was just simply gathering up information. Now, those days are gone. It's all on an iPhone. Someone from China could be listening in on a phone conversation in the United States of America. Someone from the United States of America could be listening in on a phone conversation in China. Back to my original question, what were you doing at 21 while I was listening and patching in and learning how to listen to all these phone conversations? You know those plasma TVs? You like plasma TVs? Simple question. Do you remember when those plasma TVs first came out? I used to be the king of electronics. Rent-A-Center was one of my main facilities that I loved, and they loved me. When plasma TVs first came out, oh, these fucking people, especially these white guys, no offense. These white guys they'd go ahead and they wanted the TV because it was on the wall. They were the funniest customers I've ever had in my life, and I enjoyed their company, by the way. Technology comes out, it's no big deal. Same shit, same stupid shit. When the TVs came out on the wall, not only was it rectangle, it went on the wall. They got off on their friends and their family. Wow, we have been seeing a square TV this whole entire time. Now you have a rectangle TV, and it's not on the stand, it's on the actual wall. They loved it. And I love selling it to them. I would sell them at a little bit less than half off. Sold hundreds of those fucking TVs. A 50-inch Pioneer TV cost $5,000. A 42-inch Savannah TV cost $1,900. A Samsung 60-inch TV cost $10,000 or $13,000. How do you think I sold all those TVs and got all those TVs from the get-go? You don't know? Well, it doesn't matter at this point. The reason why I got all those TVs is because I was supposed to have a reputation of being the TV man. And I got that reputation really fucking fast. Once you sell one TV to one person, word of mouth is the best fucking thing. Where'd you get this TV from? Oh, I got this TV from fucking Rick. Oh, let me get his cell phone number. Yeah, here's my fucking burner phone. But why is Rick so generous on selling you a TV a little bit less than 50%? Why are you getting a TV that costs $5,000 for only $2,300? You figure that out? Can you think about it? I'm going to tell you. Come on, do the math. Take a few seconds. Let me take a drink. Why was Rick so fucking generous? Were all of them special? The people who allowed me to get those TVs brand new in the box with the warranty papers, they wanted to watch a handful of those people who I sold those TVs to. You know, your little remote, what is that called? It's really interesting because I got one here. You know, when you point the remote on the TV, it used to say remote sensor, and it was a square little box. They switched that remote sensor with the camera and the remote sensor. So while you're watching the TV, they're watching and listening to you. Beautiful thing about that is, not only did this pussy want it on his wall, that wasn't good enough. Now he wants it in the master bedroom. Now he wants it in the basement. Now he wants it in almost every room that he can fill up. The people who gave me those TVs fucking came in their pants every time they called me back and wanted more eavesdropping devices in their rooms. But there's a downside to it. Now, everyone has a plasma TV in their house, and anyone can be watched at and logged into at any time. All those people got to do, if someone knows what they're doing, no names mentioned, they just go to your Xfinity bill. They just go to your Comcast bill. They just go to your Costco receipt bill. You know, Costco has a system where you go ahead and put your phone number in. Any electronic that you bought is on there. Not only do they have friends with people like Costco, Costco's computer systems are nothing to these people, and they could just go in through a back door without Costco even knowing. Oh, look, this person bought this TV. Here's the serial number for this TV. Ah, we don't feel like going through this work. Let's just hit Xfinity. They definitely got friends at Xfinity. Their cable bill. You ever notice when you call in the cable, you have to scan something and give them a number? Looks like I'm out of a job now. So, let me ask you a question. Did you ever sell a plasma TV back in the early 2000s? No? They didn't teach you that in criminal justice? They didn't teach you that where you went over there? How about that other place you went to? They teach you about that? You know, when I was riding my bicycle, I made buddy with people at Jiffy Lube and Pizza Hut. Riding my bike, I had overalls. I remember that day. I remember those days. I had an overall. I had my Dyno Performer I had my Dyno Air with GT mags, and I made buddy with pizza friends at Pizza Hut, people at Jiffy Lube. Hey, I want to know where this person lives. Let me give you his landline. Well, here's his address. This is where we deliver the pizza still. That was in 6th grade, definitely, without a doubt. I think that song came on Crisscross. The Daddy Mac will make you jump, jump. And the Miggity Mac. Were you doing that and making friends with Buddy Buddy at Pizza Hut and the pizza locations to find out where certain people live? You know? How about Jiffy Lube? All you gotta do is give them a license plate number. You got the home address and their phone. No? Is everything okay over there? I'm having a really bad day today. I just found out that the squirrel Peanut has been murdered by some worthless state employees in New York. I'm angry, I'm depressed, I have angry thoughts. I'm just having a really, really bad fucking day right now. I wish I was in New York, but I'm not. If that happened in Chicago, I could use all of the skills that I learned in my life as a child growing up and the blessings and teachings that I had from some serious fucking geniuses to go ahead and protest these motherfuckers who murdered that squirrel. They go ahead and they say euthanize. What the man does is he creates all of these words that have the same meaning, and once the word gets fucked up, then they go ahead and create a new word for it. You're not an illegal, you're now a migrant. An illegal was someone who came from the border into America. That's illegal because your body is illegal. You're not supposed to be here. You are an illegal. Now we made up the rules, we broke the rules, and illegal just sounds illegal. So we give it a new name. It's now a migrant. Welcome to the man where he is the biggest full of shit scumbag pussy in the history of the United States of America, who justifies every single fucking thing behind closed doors in an office behind some lawyers and some worthless other state employee investigators. Not to me, you're not an investigator, honey. Take my word for that. We didn't kill the squirrel. We didn't murder the squirrel. We euthanized the squirrel. Some guy has an Instagram channel. There was a squirrel. I guess the mother got hit by a car. The dad got hit by a car. The squirrel couldn't walk. He was crippled. Couldn't move. Most humans are afraid of squirrels. They don't touch squirrels. They stay away from squirrels. It's your right. It's your right to be a pussy. It's your right. I don't judge. I just laugh when I get home. It's alright. Leave the fucking squirrel there. It's fine. This guy decides to take the squirrel in and raise the squirrel. Has a squirrel for a very long time, doing tricks with him, waking up in the morning with the squirrel, going to sleep with the squirrel, feeding the squirrel. The squirrel is a part of this guy's family. Your pussy ass, who always people like you who always do everything you can to stay as far as away from me as you humanly possibly can, you guys decide to go to his home, take the squirrel that he took in that was part of his family, and you murdered it. Or euthanized it. Their answer is the squirrel possibly had rabies, and we need to see if that squirrel had rabies. And in order to figure out if an animal has rabies, we need to murder it. Okay, so first of all, I think your horse slut cunt wife's pussy has rabies. And I mean that. See, I'm not much of a talker, believe it or not. The high school and the places that I've been, we didn't really do much talking. This new generation going back and forth, they walk with their head down if they were in the places that I have been and in the school that I went into. I was raised to walk with my head down in hopes that I wouldn't get hurt from these fucking demons that I was put with. There's no talking, there's no communication. It's like the military. The National Guard isn't going to negotiate with you. The National Guard isn't going to de escalate with you. The National Guard isn't the Chicago police where they're supposed to de escalate. I saw a video of a National Guard member come out. There was a suspect on the ground. He took his head, banged it. Should he have done that? If it gets to that level, no more negotiating, no more de escalating, no more communications. If it got to the level where the National Guard needs to come out, you will be finished. That's a fact of life. I don't even want to talk right now. I want to fight because you murdered that fucking squirrel. And there's nothing that you can tell me that's going to make matters better. If I was in New York and I was in that situation, well, I wouldn't be in that situation because if you come to my home and if you don't have an FBI badge or if you don't have some type of federal credentials, you're not walking past that front door. That's not me trying to sound cool. That's not me trying to intimidate you. That's my courtesy for you and me so we don't get ourselves in trouble. If you don't have minimum of an FBI badge or federal credentials, don't even think about walking in through the door when I'm there. Better make sure you lock me up at a police station while you do that. But I already knew that was coming too, by the way. If I was in that situation and you did manage to take my squirrel when I wasn't home because you decided to wait because you already realized I wasn't going to let you in and it would end badly for probably all of us, I would find out where each and every single one of those employees lived who stole my squirrel and murdered him. And I would protest the living fucking shit out of all of them. I want you to think about this from a serious psychological point of view, okay? Because then I gotta run. I need to smoke a pack of cigarettes. I know. I have mental health issues. It's not the motherfucker who stole the squirrel and murdered the squirrel, which is a family. It's me. Some of yous will keep saying it's a squirrel. They're dirty animals. Get over it. It's a squirrel. I will hear that from a lot of people. It's a squirrel. It's a squirrel to you. It wasn't a squirrel to that guy and to his girlfriend. Could have been their son. Could have been their daughter that they don't have. Could have been their son that they never had. That was their loved one. That was their family member. You keep saying it was a squirrel and it was an animal. I think your daughter's a fucking animal. But now that I think about it, it's a good point. I say your daughter. Dr. Martin Luther Jr. King has created a protest that is just unfucking believable. He has changed the world where black people could not drink out of the same water fountains as white people. And he accomplished that by gathering up a protest. He changed the world where black people had to ride on the back of the bus and couldn't sit in the middle or the front of the bus. All of that got changed with the protest. If I was in New York, I'm thinking about that guy who taught me when I was younger. Shut off the lights on and off for some sick fucks who do some sick shit to innocent people. The body all has emotions, Eric. He or she is right. I wouldn't start with you. I wouldn't start my protest with you. That's too easy. You'd be expecting it. You know who I would start it with? I want you to close your eyes and think about this. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise you. I give you my word I am going somewhere with this. I want you to close your eyes and think about that number one person in your life who you love and care for the most. You're not going to close your eyes and think about that, are you? You already know who that person is? Of course you do. Came to you within 2 seconds. Good. 'Cause you know what? I also know who that motherfucking person is. And that's who I would start my protest with. That's who I would begin it with. I want that person who you love dearly in this world to call you and say, "What the fuck? He is here with 20 fucking people outside of my fucking home and outside of my fucking work." Is it still just a squirrel? Is it still just an animal? Wouldn't be done yet. You think I'm done with that bitch? Think it stops with her? You want to close your eyes again, pussy? Think of the second person that you really love in this world and cherish. Who is that person? Now think about that person calling you, saying, "What the fuck?" The psychopath maniac Chicago Blaxican is off his fucking meds, and he's outside my fucking house and outside of my fucking work. How do you feel? Is it still just an animal? Is it still just a squirrel? Thought I was gonna start my protest with you, huh? Everyone has emotions. I know what you're thinking. We have security, Eric. We have investigators. That's interesting because, to be honest with you, I like that you bring that up when you think about something. I hear your thoughts. Remember, my remote access is very good. Remember what I learned in 1997 at the telemarketing company when I was 17 years old? My remote access got really good. You think of something, I know what you're thinking of. Security, investigators. I would go ahead and protest the living fucking shit out of them, too. Actually, I may even start with them, to be honest with you, hypothetically, if I was in New York. Your security calls you up and says, "Who are you? What? Oh, are you the guy who is security for this motherfucker over here?" See, I decided to protest you and start with you because this guy is just going to go ahead and call you. Is your shift not starting yet, or no? So once that guy finds out that his security got protested at his fucking house, he'll say to himself, if he has any fucking brains at all, they protested my security. That means they're going to do the same thing to me. Yeah, but not first. Remember that one that you love the most in this world? Her first. Is it still just an animal and still just a squirrel? Because quite frankly, I think your daughter is a fucking animal. I think she's a fucking squirrel. Quite frankly, I think your son is a fucking animal. Probably gonna grow up to be a future house Negro just like you any damn way. I think he's a fucking animal. Hello, investigators. How you doing? Would you like me to go over there and protest you? Would you like to close your eyes and start to think to yourself, who is the number one person that you cherish in this world? Can't do that. I'm an investigator. Fucking job titles. You know you could go on eBay.com and buy your same fucking badge that you have, you dick. Knock that fucking shit off. I'll give it to the state prosecutor. Prosecutor doesn't have a house that I could protest at. I asked you a question. If it came down to it, we had to pick 12. You honest to God truly believe a jury? I'm not even going to say find me guilty or not guilty because that's just a given. Do you realize when you tell the jury who you are and who you work for and who you are employed with, do you realize the majority of the fucking people hate your fucking guts? Are you really that fucking stupid? If you tell me otherwise, I will jump off the Willis Tower. The majority of the people hate you. They hate who you work for. They hate your boss. You're going to have a major hard fucking time sitting here taking the witness stand telling the jury that you're security for some corrupt fucking politician? You're an investigator for some corrupt fucking-tician? I'm already an American hero. And I think it's only going to take a couple minutes for the lights to come on and you to say to yourself, oh, fucking shit. Now what? Oh, that's very simple. How about you just don't go into people's houses, taking their animals and murdering them and making the owners cry because you're a pussy who only gets cats, dogs, and fish in a fishbowl? How about this is above your pay grade? And that whole protesting thing, hey, you like this watch? Yeah, I think it's a nice fucking watch, isn't it? Sure it is, asshole. It is a nice fucking watch. You know the coolest thing about this fucking watch? It has a camera on it, you prick. See that hole? You plug that into the computer and you got your video footage. It's a beautiful watch. You think I want video of you? No. I want video of the number one person that you love and cherish in this world saying and doing some fucked up shit. And then when I get that video, I give it to somebody else. And then when that person gets that video, they give it to somebody else. And they use it to their advantage. And it's not money they're after. Now, like I said before, though, let me guess, we knew when you bought this watch, Eric, yeah? Did you know when I bought this one, too? Can I ask you something? You be honest with me. Hypothetically, if I was in New York and I could protest the way I want to, hypothetically, can you imagine how you would feel if you walked outside and you saw me? I know most of you don't have a creative mind, unfortunately. You're just capable of hearing words. Can you imagine, can you try to feel right now where you are? This is not an intimidation tactic. This is not me trying to sound cool. You're already intimidated because you did some fucked up shit and you murdered a squirrel. I already sound cool because that's just how God made me. This is a simple fucking question. This is a courtesy, if any fucking thing, to people who think that it's okay to go into people's homes, take their animals, and kill them. It's a simple fucking question. That's it. Nothing more. Do you have enough creativity in you to say to yourself, how would I feel if I open up my door and I see Eric standing there? Let me guess. Simple checkers player. You're going to call 911? I didn't know that. Really had no idea. What is 911? I don't even know what 911 is. What is that? Oh, I'm playing stupid. I really do know what 911 is. Yeah, I do know what 911 is. And you know why I was playing stupid about the 911? Because I know you're going to call 911 because you're a coward and you feel guilty and you're a little pussy ass bitch. I'm going to wait outside. Don't worry. It's just 2 o'clock in the morning. I started banging on your fucking door. Did I wake you? Is your horse slut cunt fucking wife who doesn't suck your cock anymore? Did I wake that hooker up too? I didn't break no laws. Just knocked on your door. Filming you. I wanted to ask you a few questions. Did you murder that squirrel? Did you take that squirrel and did you murder it? It's just a question. That's all I'm doing. Who are you? That doesn't matter who I am, but I will tell you, my name is Eric Jaclesic, otherwise known as Chicago Blaxican. I run Operation Chicago. I think I'm a fucking genius and I'm badass. Did you murder that fucking squirrel? I'm calling 911. Here we go again with the fucking police. That's fine. Police are gonna get there. What's gonna happen? You think I'm gonna fucking run? I'm going to tell this officer who I am. I'm going to give that officer my ID. That officer is going to see some people with me who are filming this. That officer has a body camera. I'm going to tell him if he wants me to leave, I'll consider it. If you order me to, I don't think I need to leave. I'm protesting here. This pussy just murdered a squirrel. That officer is going to go to your home. You're going to have to let him in. He's going to be filming you on the body camera. You're going to freak out. Your whore fucking wife is going to freak out. You're going to tell the officer, and the officer more than likely is going to tell you, there's nothing I could do. Now, you want to go ahead and play that slick lawyer fucking pussy card with me? You go right ahead. Will that officer make me leave? I don't think so. I guess it all depends on the residential area, wherever the fuck you are. I don't know. Illegal use of protesting? What is that called? Okay, it's a misdemeanor. I'll leave, maybe. Depends on my mood. The more I think about that fucking squirrel, the more I think I'm going to get myself arrested on purpose. And if I get myself arrested on purpose while I'm in jail, I can't be blamed for anything else that would happen, possibly, because I'm already incarcerated, fingerprints and all. Then I get a copy of that FOIA request for that body camera footage of you in the house, all scared, talking to the officer, telling him to go, not knowing what's going on. Then I upload that to YouTube. Naturally, the address is there. You're famous, your wife is famous, that one person that you love is famous. And we just keep doing this over and over and over again to each and every single fucking instated and worthless employee in that fucking office and in that fucking building. Eventually, the majority of them are going to quit when they realize the first 3 dominoes. And all of this because of why? Because you murdered a squirrel that you think is an animal. Yeah, I'm not doing too good right now. You ever torture a terrorist suspect, assholes? You know, hypothetically, if I was in New York and I showed up at your house, let me give you a hand, just out of curiosity. You go ahead and you say, I'll punch you, Eric. Did I hear an investigator say you'll punch? Holy fucking shit, when did you grow a pair of balls? Oh, holy shit, when did you become the physical type? Really? So, there's 15 people with me, approximately. They all have cameras. I decided to go to your front door bang on the door to protest you and get an interview and let your whore fucking slut wife know that I'm outside here and we demand answers of why you killed this squirrel, which is all in my legal right, compliments to Dr. Martin Luther Jr. King, and now you want to resort to physical violence against me? You and I both know you're not wired that way, but go ahead. Oh, fuck. Go ahead. How you gonna punch me? I gave you the first 2 shots for free. Go ahead. No, Jesus Christ looking at me now, my grandmother's soul, who bought me my first Nintendo. I'm not kidding you. How you gonna punch me? Go ahead. How's your physical skills? You been trained for that? You ever get into a serious fight before? You ever been in combat before? What's your pain, endurance, and your tolerance? These are just simple questions. Here, I'm gonna help you out, okay? I'll give you 2 things. Then I really gotta run. Because I'm not doing too good right now. I'm really not. I'm not doing too good right now. I'll help you out, okay? Hypothetically. And take notes. Please. I'm gonna help you. I promise I'm gonna help you, okay? Hypothetically, if someone were to punch you, right? They go like that, like that. Do this. Their punch is now on this side of here, okay? Okay? You still have this hand free. It's still free. Remember, that punch, it's on this fucking side, and you still have this hand free. Don't do this. Do this. Because that body is going to be waiting for this. That brain knows that this hand is free. But what it doesn't know is that punch is on this side of the hand, this side of the forearm. What that brain doesn't know is this hand doesn't need to be there anymore holding this punch. It's a beautiful thing. Sleep on it. Think about it. Go to YouTube. I guess it's up there. I don't know. It's not where I learned it from. That's just the beginning, though. Mr. So-called investigator who's going to punch me. Who's going to create violence against me. I just came here to protest peacefully. Do you want to take the eye out? How severe do you want to defend yourself? It's up to you. It's your choice. You have options. Me personally, you try to punch me, it's done. You're over with. That's just me, though. I don't take chances. One good thing about the United States Secret Service, they take all threats seriously. Most of the threats are full of fucking shit, but they don't treat them like they're full of shit. Me, you try to punch me, I'm not going to murder you because I'm not a killer. You're going to be in a wheelchair or crippled, and you're never going to feel the same way again. I promise you that's not me trying to sound cool or intimidate you. You already are intimidated because I think you know what I'm capable of doing. And I already sound cool because that's how God made me. But you have options, though. Someone tries to punch you, and that hand is out here, you could just do a simple punch back. Me, that's too boring. I take it extremely personal when you try to punch me. Me? I'm gonna take your eye out. I'm gonna fuck that eye up real bad if you try to punch me. Or if you really want to be severe, I don't even think I would do this. Remember, a girl told me she would do this. We'll take both your eyes out. Or if you really want to be severe and end this, the nose. Push it straight in and up. This, 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 or this? Which one? Who are you? You have it in you? You like that, don't you? They didn't teach you how to do that before? Well, now we're having fun, aren't we? We still killed the fucking squirrel, though. I don't want to have fun with people like you. I don't want to have absolutely anything to do with anyone who works or protects you. Because you're a squirrel killer. You're a God creator killer. You didn't create it, you don't kill it. There's a lot of sins in the Bible, a lot of commandments in the Bible. Some of them are more severe than others. Thou shalt not kill. You killed God's beautiful creature. Right here. There's a spot right here in the stomach. If you tap it, pain is a motherfucker when you get that spot right here. What would you do if you see me like this in front of your home? What would you do if you walk out of your office and you see me like this? Don't punch me. Don't touch me. Don't do it. Don't do it. You'll never walk again the same. Holy Spirit looking at me now. You will say to yourself, I wish we never got involved with this motherfucker. Don't do it. I'm begging you. Don't touch me if you see me. You know, if there's a cop and he actually has you like this will put some hair on people's arms. And you're in this position and he has you at gunpoint, two of them. One of the cops go back there, takes your left hand, he wants to cuff you. Some weird reason they have this training with handcuffs and it's supposed to go on like this, click like that. That's fucking retarded. Because those situations you can't always just do that perfectly. Just like this. That other cop there has his gun drawn at me. You know, the one back there used to have his gun drawn at me, but now he's putting his gun away in the holster. He's about to cuff me out. He starts with my left hand like this. I'm complying, and of course I'm talking, because when I talk, everything is good. Diversion. I'm okay. I just want to know why you're doing this. The second I hear that click on that handcuff, see my right elbow? Boom, to the back of his head. He just got an elbow to the back of his head. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm complying. Handcuff clicking on. I don't want to be cuffed anymore. My right elbow still free. Boom to his tempo. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick his ass up. You start shooting. You're going to shoot your partner. I run towards that motherfucker. And I just... oh. They teach you that. You're a squirrel killer. And you should be thanking God that I'm not in New York. All you worthless pussy-ass house Negroes, pussy state employees, DEI hire motherfuckers, so-called investigators, you should be praying to God that I'm not in New York, because I'd be protesting the shit out of all you fucking geeks.